نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. خلق السماوات بغير عمد ترونها وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وبث فيها من كل داب وأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج كريم. هذا خلق الله فاروني ماذا خلق الذين من دونه بل الظالمون في ضلال مبين. ولقد آتينا لقمان الحكمة أن اشكر لله ومن يشكر فإنما يشكر لنفسه ومن كفر فإن الله غني حميد. Respectful of our friends, as you recall, this is Surah Luqmaan, and it is called Surah Luqmaan because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of Luqmaan. And the mention of Sayyidina Luqmaan comes in the second ruku of this surah. The ending two ayats of this ruku, in these Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions a few of His qudrat. In last week's tafsir we had done with regards to وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهُ الْحَدِيث, who that refers to and what it refers to. Here now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us just the way Allah ta'ala did at the beginning of Surah Ra'd, that خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wonderful. خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ, Allah ta'ala created the skies بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ, without any pillars, تَرَوْنَهَا, that you see. وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ, and Allah ta'ala spreads mountains on the earth, أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ, so that it does not shake. وَبَثَّ فِيهَا, so that أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ وَبَثَّ فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ دَابَّةٍ, and Allah ta'ala spread every form of animal on earth. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً, and we have also sent rain from the skies. فَأَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ زَوْجٍ كَرِيمٍ, thereby growing every type of زَوْجٍ كَرِيمٍ, wonderful plant. From the qudrat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala mentions that Allah ta'ala is the one who, and this refers to as the might of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created the samawat, the heavens, بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا, without any pillars that you see. There is two tafsir here with regards to what tarawnaha refers towards, that you see. One tafsir is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the heavens, and Allah ta'ala has created the heavens, meaning the skies, in such a manner that there are no pillars attached to them, as we did in Surah Ra'd as well. That the earth, as large as it is, any other building has to have pillars to support the roof. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the skies, which is the roof, but there are no pillars attached to it. This is one tafsir of tarawna. The other is, and this is also a tafsir of Sayyidina Abdul Abbas radiallahu ta'ala, that tarawnaha refers towards the amal, that Allah Ta'ala has created the heavens with pillars, but there are such pillars which tarawnaha, you do not see, that you see meaning that Allah Ta'ala has created it with such pillars that you do not see. So without any pillars that you see. So pillars exist, but you do not see those pillars. This is one tafsir. That either Allah Ta'ala has created it without any pillars, which itself is so great on its own. And if Allah Ta'ala has created it with pillars, and the fact that there are pillars, but such pillars that we are not able to see, is also the greatness of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Whichever way it is, both indicate towards how mighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is. And then in order to stabilize the earth, وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ, Allah Ta'ala has placed mountains. So this is the purpose of mountains, to stabilize the earth. As we put weights as well, to keep things down, Allah Ta'ala has placed the mountains, and تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ, in order to stabilize the earth. وَبَثَّ فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ دَابَّةٍ, and then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has spread every type of animal on earth. Min kulli dabba. Dabbatun is all those animals that live on the earth. So again Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and when you look at dabba, just imagine the different species of animals that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created. And each species is so different. There are those that are similar, but being similar they're so different. And there are those which are totally different. And it's not just a case of a dozen or so, hundred or so. There are thousands of different species, of different animals that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created on earth. And how unique Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has made it as well, that these animals are also restricted to certain part of the earth as well. Just imagine if these animals were just as frequent everywhere as we are. So the way we walk about and we go to normal our business, going to town and going here and there, imagine these animals would be roaming around everywhere as well. Just imagine how difficult that would be for us, isn't it? That is how we going for a game and we going to hunt them. We'll have to look after ourselves. That if the weather is fine, we'll become barbecue for some lions and some tigers or so. But Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has made it such that they have their territory and we have our territory. Yes, there may be those people who live in such parts of the world which is close to their territory. So yes, they may have sort of meets and meetings with such animals. But otherwise we don't, alhamdulillah. Where we are, we don't have such a thought. We have to go to specific places to go and see and meet the animal kingdom. Zoo is different, zoo is artificial. But where Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has actually created such wildlife and that. So man goes there to such reserves and that. And this is why you see them. But Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created them. And not only that, those are maybe wild animals, but other than that, there's so many other animals which, yes, we do come in contact with. This is all the qudrat of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That is why we live here, they live here as well on this earth. They have their way of living as well. We have a more unique, established way of living. But they have their way of living as well. These are all the qudrat of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. How they live. Again, these are all the qudrat of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And a person researches these things in life, how they live. And a person will just be astonished as to, after all, who is the one who guided them? Who is the one who taught them? We still go to school to learn things. We still are taught things in a certain teaching manner. But there is also teaching that takes place with them as well. Wherein Allah Ta'ala's system, wherein other animals will teach them certain things, and other aspects are those which Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has already taught them from the beginning, meaning guided them from the onset. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً, and Allah Ta'ala says, and we have sent rain from the heavens. فَأَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ زَوْجٍ كَرِيمٍ, thereby growing every type of wonderful plant. And here as well, Zawjin Kareem, pears, the plantation as well. And that is again another universe on its own. The amount of different plants that we have, those which we benefit from in the form of food, and then there is that plantation which we may not eat, but it is there and it does its work what it needs to be doing. هذا خلق الله فاروني ماذا خلق الذين من دوني. Allah Ta'ala says this is Allah's creation. So Faruni, show me what besides Him has created, meaning to the disbelievers, that show us that those deities that you believe, what have they created? What Allah Ta'ala has created is in front of us. We can see what Allah Ta'ala has created. Show us what they have created. But الظالمون في ضلال مبين. However, the oppressors are clearly deviated, because they are the ones who do not accept Allah Ta'ala as being the only deity, and because of that they are deviated from the straight path. These two verses complete the first ruku of Surah Luqmaan, and from here Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala makes mention of Sayyidina Luqmaan, and along with that the various advice that Sayyidina Luqmaan had given to his son, which we have left for the next tafsir. Allah Ta'ala mentions that وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنْ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. Allah Ta'ala says that we have certainly granted wisdom and Alif Lam Al-Hikmah, great wisdom to Luqmaan. Anishkur lillah, to express gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ, whoever is grateful to Allah, فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ, he expresses gratitude for his own benefit. وَمَنْ كَفَرَ, and whoever is ungrateful, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ, Allah Ta'ala is certainly Ghaniyun, independent, and Allah Ta'ala is Hamid, most worthy of praise. Allah Ta'ala mentions here Luqmaan. Who is Sayyidina Luqmaan? There are two opinions with regard to Sayyidina Luqmaan. One opinion is that he was a Nabi, and the other opinion is that he was a righteous servant of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. The majority opinion is towards that Sayyidina Luqmaan was a righteous and pious servant of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and that he was not a Nabi of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He was not a Nabi. In some riwayat it is mentioned that Sayyidina Luqmaan was given the choice of either Nabuwat or Hikmat. And Sayyidina Luqmaan himself chose that of Hikmat over Nabuwat. And when questioned with regard to this, although he said that if the choice is mine, if I've given the choice, then this is what I choose. And if it's not in my choice, then whatever is destined for me will be accepted. When asked with regards to this decision of his, he mentioned that the mansab, the mantle, and the responsibility of Nabuwat is far greater than that of Hikmat. So for that reason he chose Hikmat. Who was he? In some riwayat it is mentioned that he was related to Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salatu salam. And he lived till the time of Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salatu salam. He would even give fatwas to people prior to Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salatu salam. And when Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salatu salam was sent as a Nabi, that's when he himself stopped giving fatwa, saying that when Dawood alayhi salatu salam is here, then there is no need for me to give fatwa. This itself shows and indicates towards the type of individual he was, how wise he was. And not that, look, I've got this position of a mufti, so why should I step down from that position, no matter who is here? But he realized that Dawood alayhi salatu salam, so there's no need for me to be ahead, let me just step down. There is no need for me to give fatwa now. Sayyidina Luqmaan was actually an Abyssinian slave of origin. So he was black in complexion. Some riwayat say that he was from the black origins of Egypt, but the most acceptable opinion is that he was from Ethiopian, from the blacks of Ethiopia. So he was an Ethiopian, Habshi. And he has been described as well that he was short in structure and his nose was flat. He was actually a slave as well. He was a slave. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him great wisdom and understanding. On one occasion, his master said to him to slaughter a goat. And then said to him that now fetch for me the best organs of that animal. And he brought the tongue and the heart of the goat. After some time, the master said to him again to slaughter an animal and said to him, fetch for me the worst organs of that animal. And Surah Luqmaan brought with him the tongue and the heart. His master had said to him, that doesn't make sense. When it was the best organs, you brought these. And when I asked you for the worst, you brought these. So he says that when these are at its best, they are the best. And when it is at the worst, it is the worst. The heart, when the heart is rectified, it is the best. And as well as when it is worse, it is the worst. And the tongue as well. Tongue utilized correctly, it is the best organ in the body. And when the tongue is utilized incorrectly, then it is the worst organ of the body. This is the hikmah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had granted Sayyidina Luqmaan. And part of his hikmah, somehow Allah ta'ala mentioned here in the Qur'an, which just shows that how marvelous his advice was. Allah ta'ala mentions them in the Qur'an. But there are so many more which are ascribed towards him which are not mentioned in the Qur'an, which are all eye-openers for us. And what is hikmat? One of the definitions of hikmat is that a person gives such advice to others that advice is something which is so beneficial for people. That is what hikmat is. There's various different interpretations of what hikmat is. One meaning of hikmat is nabuwat as well. One meaning of hikmat is ilm. One meaning of hikmat is aql. One meaning of hikmat is understanding, aql, intellect. And we normally translate it in English as being that of wisdom. So all of these things are included in it. If a person doesn't have nabuwat, then he has ilm. So ilm is also hikmat, because ilm is what shows you, what differentiates between what is right and wrong. It is what guides a person. Hikmah refers towards good understanding, of giving good opinions as well. And all of these things were found in Sayyidina Luqmaan. So Allah Ta'ala had given him, that's why people say Luqmaan Hakim, Hakim Luqmaan, because Hakim meaning here of hikmah. And here hikmah does not refer towards what we know as Hakim Sahib, the one who sits in the mutib, who sits in the medical center. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted Sayyidina Luqmaan hikmah. Anishkur lillah, to express gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that hikmat was granted to him, and because of that hikmat, he did what? Anishkur lillah. Again here, anishkur lillah, one is that Luqmaan should do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of the hikmat, Allah ta'ala, wisdom that Allah ta'ala had granted him. And the other is that the hikmat itself, the wisdom that Allah had granted him, was what made him do the gratitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So shukr also is included in hikmat. Because if you do not have hikmat, you will not show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you do not have wisdom. And yes, being wise and having wisdom, possessing wisdom, is a great bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because not every person does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them that understanding of things, wherein they understand correctly and they can make others understand correctly as well. In one of this, maybe the Jummah bayan or one of the bayans that mentioned with regards to when there's differences between husband and wife. And during that time you do what? You try and get somebody to reconcile between the families, the husband and wife. There to that person who should be put as the third person, the middleman, needs to be somebody who is sahib or rai, somebody who has aql. When it comes to family decisions as well and family matters, sometimes it becomes the norm that the senior member of the family is the one who makes the decisions. And it doesn't always work, and neither should it always work in such a manner that the seniors are the ones who make the decisions, because it is not essential that all seniors are from those who have hikmat and wisdom. There are many who are senior in age, but they do not have knowledge, for instance, or they do not have experience. They do have experience of life in the sense that they have lived longer than those who are younger, but it depends how they've lived as well. How they've lived, and depending on how they live, their experiences may be vast or their experiences may be very limited. So it's not necessary that they will be able to be, they are definitely experienced in everything. And at the same time, the most important thing is that are they sahib or rai or not? Do they possess wisdom or not? So a lot of times those who are senior in the family, we think that look, we have to get their opinion, or they are the ones who have to make the decision, and they also think that we need to be the ones who are, we are the boss. But to be the boss, you have to be wise as well, you need to have wisdom. If the senior member of the family does have wisdom, then by all means you should not give priority to others. But if they do not possess understanding and wisdom, then with respect, you keep them with respect. You take their opinion as well, but it's not necessary that you have to work and you make a decision on their decision, because not every person is granted wisdom. So wisdom is also a great ni'mat, bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is great bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned with regards to the Ash'ariyin, the tribe from Yemen. Sayyidina Abu Musa Ash'ari from that tribe as well. And Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that one of their traits is that Allah Ta'ala has given them wisdom. That Allah Ta'ala has given them wisdom. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gives an example. Their wisdom is that when they are traveling as well, and if any of them is now attacked and cornered, so what does he say to his enemies? He says that you better be careful, because I am not alone, the rest are following suit. That although I am alone now, but the rest are following, they are coming, irrelevant of whether they do exist or not. But in this way they would be alerted that look, there are others maybe coming along, and they would then maybe retreat from there. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that one of their qualities is that Allah Ta'ala has given them wisdom. So wisdom is a great quality from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where a person is able to heed, advise themselves, and they are able to give good words of wisdom to others as well. And that person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted wisdom, they should do what? Anishkur lillah. The wisdom to lead them to do shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and because of the wisdom Allah has granted, like any other ni'mat, a person do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shukr is the opposite of kufr. Kufr, we refer kufr to reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The actual meaning of kufr is a seed, to plant something. To plant something. That's why kafir is also utilized for who? For a farmer. Because the farmer is what? He hides the seeds. You hide the seeds in the ground. So when you hide what you're supposed to be showing is kufr. And shukr is to make apparent. So what do we make apparent? In shukr we make apparent what? That we accept, we acknowledge the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Acknowledging the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what shukr is. And to hide that and not to express or show and acknowledge the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what kufr is. So anishkur lillah, to show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that you accept what the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when a person does shukr, who are we doing shukr for? That too Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here, that وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. That when we do and we say Allah Ta'ala shukr, Allah Ta'ala shukr, Allah shukr to you, Allah shukr to you, Allah shukr to you, that doesn't do anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That shukr is not for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just the way any other ibadat as well, when you do the ibadat of Allah ta'ala, we're doing the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we're not doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're doing it for ourselves. It is we who benefit from it. Here too Allah ta'ala says, وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ. Whoever is grateful, فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِلنَّفْسِ. He expresses gratitude for his own benefit. Meaning because his gratitude benefits only himself. Why? Because لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Allah Ta'ala will reward him and will increase him in his favors. So who benefits from the shukr? It is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who benefits from the shukr. So all the thumbs up, this person has so many thumbs up, somebody has so many positive comments. So Allah Ta'ala doesn't benefit from our shukr at all. How many people are showing shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, acknowledging the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That doesn't benefit Allah Ta'ala whatsoever. It is that shukr itself is of benefit to ourselves. That the more shukr we do, we are the ones who are going to benefit from it. Hence, if a person finds themselves worldly wise or deeny wise, and they feel that look, they're not really progressing, they're not really successful in life, then what they need to do, one of the remedies for that is that they should increase the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because no matter what condition a person is in, you will always find somebody who is worse off than you. And there is no person who can say that they have no reason to show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No person can say that at all. That there is no reason, what should I do shukr for? Nobody can say that at all. So we all have something or the other to do shukr to. But unfortunately, we assume that it is only when we become a millionaire that we will show shukr to Allah Ta'ala. It is only when something magnificent, something great happens in our lives, that do we get then opportunity that is now when we should show shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I get a dream job, that's when I'll show gratitude to Allah Ta'ala, that's when I'll do shukr to Allah Ta'ala. And because we are waiting for those opportunities before we do shukr, no prosperity comes our way. Because we are missing out on so many things that we're supposed to be doing shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala too, but we're not doing that. And because we're not doing that, we ourselves are not benefiting. So Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. The one who shows gratitude is only benefiting himself. So if we want that we should find benefit in our lives, then show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala will increase in that. That person who achieves something in life, it is not guaranteed that that success is going to remain. There is no guarantee that his achievement will last long. But yes, there is one way wherein that achievement can last forever. And not only can it last forever, but it can increase as well, and that is by doing the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala himself mentions, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ, then what? لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. I will increase you in it. So that which you have achieved and you think that you can't achieve greater than that, you can. If you show gratitude to Allah Ta'ala, لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, Allah Ta'ala will increase you on that. We show that your success will remain. Without shukr, a person's success will be temporary. It will be temporary. Somebody does what somebody has achieved something, they earn some money, they pass the exams, they get their qualifications, they get a good job as well, they get a good marriage proposal. So many things of this world. That is a success that has come their way temporarily. It is not guaranteed that that's going to remain later on as well. That business of yours, if you think that I'm successful, I've put my business up to this rank, halat conditions can change and that business can fall flat. You are at a certain position at work, but before you know, you might lose that position. So these things can very easily go. And the only way, and what we think to do is, we think that harder we work on our business, is going to remain successful. The more we're going to say yes boss to all the boss, we're going to remain in our position. So we think that this is the way we will remain successful. Allah Ta'ala says no. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ فَإِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. Allah Ta'ala says no. Show gratitude. Show gratitude to the proposal. Show gratitude to the business. Show gratitude to whatever ni'mas I've given you. And if you do so, then you will remain successful. And this is, as I mentioned to you, the golden principle to remain successful in life, to show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ. When we show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are benefiting ourselves. And what does showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mean? There are three ways of showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is by means of the heart and the aql. By means of the heart and aql is to acknowledge the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Means that those who don't even acknowledge it, they don't even acknowledge that these are the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like everyday thing, you don't even think about it. Or if you do think about it, it's a case of my position, my hard work. It is my skills, my doings, my contacts. Now you have to have contacts in the right place. So my contacts, my friends, my achievement, my struggle, my this, and my that. So in all that my, person totally forgets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there is no shukr. Even mentally, you haven't acknowledged that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first is that with the aql you acknowledge, and in the heart you acknowledge that these are the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon me. And then the second is that by means of our tongue we express that which our heart has understood. That when the heart has understood that this is the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say Alhamdulillah, and we show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the tongue. And that is not restricted to that. Many of us restricted to that. And that is what Allah Ta'ala shukr, Allah Ta'ala shukr. Anybody asks me, how's business? Allah ka shukr. How's life? Allah ka shukr. So everything is there on the tongue, Alhamdulillah. You know, which is good as well. So it's all on the tongue, Allah shukr, Allah shukr. You know what I mean? New car, have the sticker on, mashallah. New house, hadha min fadhi rabbi. Or mashallah written on there as well. And a car as well, you have many cars. The exhaust has a black ribbon tied to it. It's, I think, more prevalent in the Pakistani culture. They have a black ribbon on it. That's not going to save you from any nazar or so. There's nothing in that black ribbon there that you're going to tie that black ribbon there is going to save you from any nazar. That isn't the case at all. It's not going to save you from anything at all. It's like in the past people who do that, a child who looks good. So the women would deliberately put a black spot there. And the reason for that black spot there was to create sort of a deficiency in the child, so people would not marvel at that child. So they would deliberately do that. So he said, if you want, you can scratch the car up. Isn't it? Just scratch it up and that isn't it. Then nobody's nazar will fall on it. So that is not the protection of it. That is not the way of protection for it. So when it comes to this shukr by the tongue, that is there all the time. That is very easy for us to do. That's the most easiest thing to do. Allah Ta'ala shukr, Allah shukr, Allah shukr, Allah shukr. That is very easy. But the third, which is the most important, is that now you have acknowledged that these are the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now use those bounties in the ta'at of Allah ta'ala, in the obedience of Allah ta'ala. This is the main, isn't it? That is to show actually gratitude, isn't it? Somebody gives you something and your whole life you show gratitude. And one example I've mentioned previously, Mufti Ahmad Khanpuri once gave this example. And it is a unique example. And this is what it's very easy for us to understand showing gratitude is. He says that a person comes from Hajj, and when he returns from Hajj, he brings a shawl for his Imam Sahib. He brings a shawl for the Imam Sahib and he gives that as a hadiah to the Imam Sahib. Imam Sahib accepts it as well. And Imam Sahib says to him as well, shukr, jazakallah and everything. I really appreciate it, very nice and that. And a few days later as well, he sends another message to him as well. Jazakallah again, you start to say again, Jazakallah for the gift that you brought, and you thought you went for Hajj and you thought of me and you brought this Hajj for me. He hasn't said this, I'm just adding on to it. This shawl for me, this scarf for me and that. So all the words are there. Now the first Jummah comes. So this Haji Sahib is now, he has an umeed that look, Imam Sahib, alhamdulillah, Imam Sahib liked the shawl that I brought for him. He liked the shawl that I brought for him. And on this as well, one etiquette of giving Hadiah is, look, when you give somebody Hadiah, you give it to them, forget about it now. Forget about it. Because once you've given it to that person, it's up to them what they want to do with it. They can keep it, or if they want to, they can give it to somebody else as well. You still get your reward of the Hadiah. It's unnecessary that they have to use it, because not everything is going to be useful to every person. Maybe it's not of their liking, or maybe it's extra, they don't need it. So instead of just staying there, they might give it as a gift to somebody else. So once you've given it to them, just leave it, forget about it. But yes, if somebody has given you something and you see it on them, you see them using it, it brings a bit of happiness to a person. So now this individual, this Haji Sahib, when he gave this shawl, now the first Jummah he comes to the masjid hoping, definitely Imam Sahib really liked that shawl of mine. Imam Sahib will have that on Jummah. So he comes to Jummah and sees what? Imam Sahib has a shawl on, but not that shawl. He has a shawl, but not that shawl. So you've given this rumal, this scarf to Mufti Sahib, and he's tied a turban, but not the scarf that I've given. So okay, maybe he's already intended to wear it this week, so maybe next week Jummah, because it's still new. Next week Jummah he comes again. And what happens? He's not wearing that shawl. He's not wearing that shawl. And then what happens is, leaving the masjid after Jummah, Imam Sahib meets him again, Jazakallah for that shawl. He reminds him again, Jazakallah for the shawl. So again he's happy, look, Imam Sahib really likes that shawl, so definitely, third Jummah, nothing at all. Then he thinks to himself, no. Imam Sahib likes it so much, Bakra'id. Maybe Bakra'id, isn't it? So he came back from Umrah, then he'll be Bakra'id. If he came back from Hajj, then it's going to be a bit wild for Eid. He went for Ramzan Umrah, so he brought this shawl. So he's saying to himself, now Eid is coming, so definitely Eid is there. So now what happens is, Eid day is waiting. Today Imam Sahib will wear that shawl that I got, and I can tell people, look, that's the shawl I got from Umrah. Because he's waiting to say that as well, isn't it? And now Eid day comes, and Imam Sahib has a shawl, but he doesn't have that shawl. So now he's wondering, okay, Imam Sahib keeps on sending me and saying to me that he really likes that shawl, and he's saying thank you all the time, but he's not wearing the shawl. And then what happens is, that some Maulana comes to visit the masjid, and Imam Sahib brings him to his house, invites him, and he says to this Musalli as well who brought him, aapki bhi da'wat hai, aap bhi aa jana. Your da'wat as well, you come as well. He said, okay, inshallah, go. And then he goes to the Imam Sahib's house, and when he comes to the Imam Sahib's house, when he enters, and because there's a lot of people entering with their shoes on, so you have to save the carpet, isn't it? So when he enters in the house, what does he find? He finds that rumal of his, the scarf that he has given, the shawl, that's been placed there on the floor to save and protect the carpet. To save and protect the carpet. Now just imagine where people are now wiping their feet on. So now just imagine, how is this person going to feel? How is this person going to feel? That all along Imam Sahib kept on saying Jazakallah for the shawl. And then Imam Sahib does what? He utilizes it for this purpose. This is what shukr is as well. We say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala, shukr for all the money you've given, but where do we use it? We're using it in haram. We say Allah ta'ala shukr, but we use it in haram. Allah ta'ala gives us good appearances, we say Allah ta'ala shukr, we use it where? We use it in haram. Allah ta'ala gives us position, we say Allah ta'ala shukr, but where do we use it? We use it in haram. Allah Ta'ala has given us a comfortable, good car, conveyance. We say Allah Ta'ala shukr, mashallah, stickers there as well. But at the same time, mashallah, we're doing tawaf of all the haram places as well. So this is the example of practically not showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although there is gratitude on the tongue, but there isn't. Gratitude when Imam Sahib would then put that on his head and where did he use it, then he knows, look, what he's saying is there in his actions as well. We're saying Allah Ta'ala shukr, but then we're not using the health Allah Ta'ala has given us in what? In His obedience. We're not using the wealth He's given us or earning it as well in the obedience of Allah Ta'ala. We're not using any of the bounties and ni'mat that Allah Ta'ala has given us in His ibadat. That is what that is going against. That is showing disgratitude to the bounties of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So shukr is acknowledge it in the heart, express it with the tongue, and then carry it out as well by means of your deeds. Because وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. And for the one who is ungrateful, then فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ. Allah Ta'ala is independent. I mean, Allah Ta'ala is not in need of His gratitude. And Allah Ta'ala is Hamid, most worthy of praise anyway. Meaning, regardless of whether man praises Allah Ta'ala or not, Allah Ta'ala deserves praise anyway. Allah Ta'ala deserves praise anyway, irrelevant of whether we show praise to Allah Ta'ala or not. So that would affect Allah Ta'ala. And in the other verse, Allah Ta'ala mentions, when you kafar to فَإِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. There then the adhab of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the adhab is what? That Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will deprive a person of those bounties then. And that is what happens. Any bounty, you do not show gratitude to the bounty, fine. You don't deserve that bounty. That success, as I mentioned to you, you will no longer remain successful in that bounty, and Allah Ta'ala will take that bounty away from us. This is one of the qualities of Surah Luqmaan. And then the next verse Allah Ta'ala mentions of the various advice that Allah Ta'ala, that Surah Luqmaan had given to his son, which are again Allah mentions in the Qur'an, because these are advices that we need to take heed as well. Allah Ta'ala grant us all hikmat, wisdom. Allah Ta'ala also grant us the quality of showing gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.